Hey guys, welcome to Recitation 0C, part 2 on PyTorch fundamentals. I'm Aparajit and I'll be helping you go through all the other necessary functions for you to complete your homeworks and also do a couple of projects on deep learning in the future. So going on to the operations for combining tensor, let us start with concatenate. So concatenate, what basically does is that it just joins two tensors together. So first, let us see. We are just creating two tensors of shape 2 cross 3 cross 4, random tensors with these commands. And for concatenating, the torch function is torch.cat. So the input to cat should be a list of tensors as it is shown here, and the concatenation dimension or axis to be precise. So this operation basically concatenates tensors T1 and T2 along the first axis. So this operation, since it concatenates along the first axis, the number corresponding to the first axis in both the tensors will be changed. So if you can see this visually, you can consider T1 to be a tensor which consists of two tensors of shape 3 cross 4, 3 cross 4. Similarly, T2 can also be considered to be a tensor which consists of two tensors of shape 3 cross 4 and 3 cross 4 as shown here. So when you're concatenating these two tensors along dimension 1 or axis 1, you get a new tensor of shape 2 cross 6 cross 4. If you can see, whatever axis is given here in this dimension parameter here, that is the only axis which actually undergoes change. So basically what you're doing is you're taking this smaller tensor, this smaller tensor, and concatenating together, and the second smaller tensor of the first tensor, the second smaller tensor of the second tensor, and concatenating together to get a whole bigger tensor. So going on to another example of the same operation, we have T3 and T4 defined, which is of shape 1 cross 3 cross 4, 2 cross 3 cross 1. Now we are concatenating tensors T1, T2, and T3 along axis 0. So one thing which you have to notice, guys, apart from the axis which is specified in this dimension parameters, those axes should have the same shape. As you can see here, while concatenating T1, T2, and T3, the shapes apart from 0 should be the same. So 3 cross 4, 3 cross 4, and T3, 3 cross 4. Since you're concatenating along the 0th axis here, which is 2 for T1, 2 for T2, and 1 for T3, they are not required to be the same. It is kind of intuitive if you can imagine. If I just stacking many tensors one above the other, you can stack one tensor like this, but you can't stack another tensor in this way. Both the shapes should be matching together. So that is intuitively how this can be explained. So that should be noted while you are concatenating tensors. So similarly is done for this example also. You can take a look at it in the notebook here. So concatenating T1, T2, and T3 here, T1, T2, and T3, you will get a new tensor of shape. The second and third shape would be 3 cross 4. The first one would be 2 plus 2 plus 1 since you're concatenating. So the shape of the new tensor would be 5 cross 3 cross 4. The similar holds for the second example too here, where you're concatenating T1, T2, and T4 along dimension 2. Here, as you can see, dimension 2 is 4, 4 for T1, 4 for T2, and 1 for T4. So as I told earlier, the dimensions apart from whatever you're using for concatenation should be same. So the next operation in combining tensors is tensor stack. Tensor stack is very similar to concatenation. The only difference is that it does not actually require the tensors to be stacked along a particular dimension. So if you see in the previous examples, you're stacking all these tensors along a dimension or along an axis which is already present in the tensor. For stacking, you do not require an axis which is already present there. So this operation is actually a combination of both unsqueeze and cat. Intuitively, you can imagine stack to be the literal stacking operation where, consider you have a lot of sheets of paper. You're stacking one sheet of paper above the other. So when you're doing this, a sheet of paper is a 2D object. When you're stacking one sheet above the other, you ultimately get a 3D volume. So that's what happens in tensor stack. So in this operation, you're stacking T1 and T2 together along the axis 0. So what is actually being done internally is that the 3x4 tensor, which is defined, first gets unsqueezed. So unsqueezed along the dimension, along the axis which is specified in the dim parameter. So a 3x4 tensor gets converted into a 1x3x4 tensor. Then after stacking, you get n cross 3x4 tensor. And so it is similar for all the other dimensions as well. So the next operation which we'll see is padding. Padding can be implemented with pad, the function pad, which can be found in the functional module of torch nn. So this is how you will need to import the functional module. So padding is basically addition of a boundary addition of a boundary around the tensor. So that is, in layman terms, that's what padding is. So the operation is defined as follows. You're defining a 2D tensor here, x, and f dot pad takes these many arguments. So the first is the tensor itself, and pad left defines the thickness of the left boundary, pad right the thickness of the right boundary, top different the thickness of the first the top boundary, bottom the thickness of the bottom boundary, and the mode is constant for constant padding, and we'll give a value of 0. You can check out more in the documentation itself. So doing the same, if the thickness is 1, you get a 1 thickness boundary in the left, right 2, you get a thickness of 2 boundary here. So that's what padding basically does. So moving on to the next set of operations, which are the mathematical operations. The first type of operations which we'll be seeing is the element-wise operation. So as the name suggests, element-wise operation is just operating on specific elements of the tensors. So if you're operating between two tensors, the first element of the first tensor will be operated on the first element of the second tensor. Similarly, the nth element of the first tensor will be operated on the nth element of the second tensor. So that's what element-wise or point-wise operations are. Here you're defining new example tensors, and you're just printing out the shape in this. So yeah, in this operation, we are just adding a scalar to the tensor. When you're adding 10 to T1, 10 gets added to each and every element of T1. So since T1 is a ones tensor, the output would be 11, 11, 11. So when you're adding two tensors together, as I told earlier, the first element of the first tensor would be added to the first element of the second tensor, and so on. For our example, you're just adding two 1 tensors together, which gives you the output 2, 2, 2. Multiplication with a scalar is similar to addition, where you're just multiplying 3 with each and every element of the tensor. Multiplication with the tensor is also similar. First element of the first tensor is multiplied with the first element of the second tensor, and so on. So this can also be extended to multidimensional tensors. The above operation, we just used it for one-dimensional tensors. So going on to broadcasting. Broadcasting is when you do operations on two tensors of different shapes. So now, as you can see, T3 is of shape 3 cross 4. It is basically a matrix. T5 is of shape 3 cross 1, which is a column vector. When you add T3 and T5, you are just broadcasting. You're doing a broadcasting operation. So what you're doing is you're adding a column vector with each and every matrix, so on, so like this. So the first this column vector would be added to the first column, then the second column, the third column, and the fourth column. So the resulting output would be two vectors for our example. So the next set of operations is the reduction operations. Reduction operations basically takes a bunch of numbers and returns you just one output. So reduction operations, there are a lot of reduction operations in PyTorch, which are sum, mean, standard deviation, maximum, minimum, and so on. So I'll just explain one example with sum. The others can be found in the PyTorch documentation because there are a lot of reduction operations and you'll be using a lot in your homeworks. When you call sum, you can call sum in two different ways. You can call sum as torch.sum with the tensor as the input argument, or you can call tensor.sum. So what it basically does is it sums all the elements present in the tensors and returns one value. So that's what sum basically does. So considering T1, if you sum all the elements of T1, you get 3. And that is the output here for this statement. And you get a similar output for this implementation also. So the next set of operations are comparison operations. Comparison operations, as the name suggests, are used for comparing two tensors. So we are defining three example tensors here. Here is a comparison operation, which is to check if tensor 1 is greater than tensor 2. This actually is done in an element-wise fashion, where I'll show you an example here. So consider T1 here, T2 here. When you're doing T1 greater than T2, you're basically comparing between the elements of T1 and T2. So when the output is true for the first element, it means that the first element of T1 is greater than first element of T2. Similarly, if this element is false, this element of T1 is lesser than this element of T2. Basically, this condition what we have given is false. So the output of these comparison operation is basically a Boolean valued matrix vector, or just Boolean value. Boolean value in the case of any or all. So any, what it does is it just checks if any of the elements present in these two tensors T1 and T2 satisfy these conditions. So that is what any and all does is all basically checks if all the elements present satisfies the condition. So these two can also be considered as a reduction operation, where we are operating between two higher dimensional tensors and you're just getting one single answer. So the next set of operations which we'll be seeing are the vector matrix operations. These are very similar to what you usually do in linear algebra between matrices or vectors. The function which is used in PyTorch for this purpose is matmul. You can also use the @ symbol for matrix multiplication. Here in the notebook, we have given you a bunch of examples between vectors, between matrix vectors, and so on. You can actually have a look. The link to the notebook is actually given in the description. In addition, we have also created a cheat sheet which actually consists of all the all the functions which we have gone through in this recitation. We'll also provide the link to the cheat sheet. Do visit Torch documentation. There are a lot of operations which will be very useful for you guys in the upcoming homeworks, and even in the future if you are doing any work related to deep learning. So that is it from my side, guys. Hope you have an amazing semester, and once again, welcome to the course. Bye.